Hey everybody, welcome back to San Diego Market Movers. I'm your host, Jason Yoss. I'm here with Jack Campbell. Jack, how are we doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah,
So, Jack, thanks for being on. I really appreciate it. You have been a staple in the real estate industry here in San Diego for a while, but what I really wanted to ask you is, tell me about that first transaction. Tell me about how that went.
Yeah, well, first off, real estate for me didn't start in San Diego. Okay. I actually was in Huntington Beach. While I was in high school, I was 18 years old, decided I was going to go get my real estate license.
Okay.
And so I popped into the real estate business, as green as you can be at 18 years old, right out of high school. And funny as it could be, at 18, you don't really get too many opportunities, right? Not a lot of people take you real seriously when they think about buying a few $100,000 house. And back then it used to be a few hundred. I mean, now we're up into the millions. But that being said, I hosted, what felt like probably 100 open houses, right? Trying to find somebody who would trust this little kid to handle the real estate transaction. It was 1992. It was about 30 years ago. And anyhow,
seems like time flies, huh? That was just 30 years ago. That was 5 minutes ago.
Her name was Beverly, and I can't remember her. It started with an M, Beverly M. Don't remember the last name, but is interesting. The moment that it happened, like she walked in, she toured in an open house. We started talking. She acknowledged immediately that, look, you're a kid. You don't know what you're doing. I'm going to give you a shot, right?
Wow.
And I remember her looking at me, and I'm like, this one's going to give me a shot. Like everybody else, I'm pursuing, chasing, and nobody's returning calls. They don't want to work with a kid, right? Somebody who doesn't know anything about real estate. So anyhow, so I started working with her, and we were in Huntington Beach at an open house. And before I know it, we were touring homes out in Anaheim. We were out in Fullerton.
North Orange County, yeah.
Then we were pushing out into Corona, right? I live in Huntington Beach. This is like 45 minutes to show.
45 to 55 to the 91. Wow.
Yes. We ended up after seeing about 35 homes from Huntington on different days. We took probably, literally 30 or more trips to go see homes out in Lake Elsinore, out in Corona, to eventually to Wildomar. We found this newer construction community at the time out in Wildomar. And I remember touring that house with her because as soon as she walked in, the prices, as we go further out, the prices get, they were declining. And so it was affordable for her, and we knew that. And she walked in, saw the floor plan, and she looks at me as she walked through the threshold, no joke. And she says, this is the one.
This is the one, yeah.
I'm not sure if she loved the house or if she was just completely worn out from searching, but whatever it was, I was really obviously excited. I'm like, this is my first sale. Right. So then, of course, now I have to figure out how to write a real estate contract, right? So
it gets better.
Yeah, it gets better. So I go back to my broker and start having conversations with him. And needless to say, she didn't actually qualify for financing. She had spoken with a lender, didn't have an actual formal pre-approval, but I didn't know at the time how to vet the process.
Right.
So it's interesting, to have gone through all these series of these mistakes that you make in the real estate business, right? Mm-hmm. To go through this process at 18 years old and realize, there really is a lot to this. It's not just opening doors for houses or, helping clients. It's coaching and consulting through all these different nuances. Today, I would have gotten her to that end result in probably 4 to 5 houses, rather than having to show 30 to get her to help her evolve to that point. Right. So it's just interesting looking back and reflecting on how different it was, that experience versus the experience that I get to help clients with today.
That's huge. And to bring it back for everybody, understand that number one, 30 to 35 houses. A lot of agents show a lot of homes to a client before they buy, but back then it was with a Thomas guy because there's going to be no navigator. Wait, that's right.
It was actually with a book.
And for those of us who know Orange County, Wildomar is a little bit far from Huntington Beach. It's not close. Corona's a little far. Anaheim's a little far from Huntington Beach. So you were definitely exploring the entire county and then some. And then lastly, those timeless things that we hear all the time, but people don't know in the beginning if they're a newer agent, like make sure they have pre-approval or vetting it. That's some great
there's a difference between pre-approvals.
Right.
Not all pre-approvals are equal. What steps have been done, and then which home should you be showing and which shouldn't you? What questions should you be asking to save the client time of having to go look at something that they're just going to be disappointed with?
It's a great way to contrast those who have been doing it for a couple minutes for those who've been doing it for a little while.
Yeah.
So, Jack, thanks so much for being on and telling everybody your first time in real estate. Really glad you were here today. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.